This is the title of my dissertation, The Gender, Meaning and Use of Territories by Katukina Indigenous People. And these pictures here, I would like to show. We have here, this is a ritual. This is one of the main rituals in this group. And we have the men in one side, in the other side, the women, just to illustrate how gender is strong. And the woman, they are moving like partner. Here is the woman, the other side, her husband. Okay, and behind this, we have the intangible beings that I'm gonna explain that also participate in the parties. It's a kind of honor of the parties, and this is really important because many of the use of the territories is they do according to the intangible beings. They have a lot of regulations associated. Just to have an idea how far it is, we have the Amazonas state, the biggest one here, and the Katukina territory here, this red color, in a very preserved area. And to go to there, we go by boat in a motor boat. From Manaus until there is 24 hours. This is kind of the fast way to arrive there.
But you can put a helmet.
No, this one.
No city?
Yeah.
You better go from Peru.
We could go from Tabatinga also, but it's kind of 12 hours. But we should go until Tabatinga is expensive. Because I was in Brazil, I was in Belém, so yeah. You cannot sleep in these trips, terrible. And Katukina indigenous people, they speak Takana from Takana family. Just Katukina and Kanamari belong to this family group, linguistic family group. And Katukina, it's not the own name. The other indigenous group and no indigenous group call it then as Katukina, which means gentle indigenous people. They are known in their region as agriculture people. This is agricultural field, a shift in cultivation. It's really important to them. They have huge plots and with diversity crops, the women. The ritual, and to have an idea how the crops are important, they need an amount of pineapple, a big amount of pineapple and banana to prepare a special drink during this ritual. And my research problem is how to Katukina indigenous people conceptualize and use territory in their social and geographic environment. And my general objective is a multidimensional analysis of the meaning of territories for the Katukina indigenous people from Biá River and their use of these micro-territories among villages with particular attention to the gender elements. And I divided 2 chapters of results. One is related with ownership and intangible beings, and women are really important because I discovered that women drive these actions related with intangible beings. And the title of this chapter is Every Place Has an Owner, Intangible Beings and Katukina Relationships in the Gendered Appropriation, Use and Sharing of Territories. This title is based in my question. When I questioned today, I asked, who has done it here? What kind of elements of place have done it? And they told me everything has an owner. So it's a different cosmology associated with this, with ownership. So my research question for this chapter is how have the Katukina established rules and relations of use, sharing, appropriation territories over time? In this picture, we can see the intangible beings. He is the owner of this kind of plant, and the same intangible beings in an animal format. I'm going to explain why this. Because to them, just the shaman can see the intangible being as human, they believe that they are indigenous group from different groups, not Katukina, but the normal Katukina see them like animals. But the shaman can have conversation and know more about the intangible beings and do this kind of communication between shamans, between Katukina and intangible beings. We could say that could be spirits, I asked, but they told me no, they are real people, not spirits. We have the scientific concept of intangible beings, animal agents who have intentionality analogous as human, by Viveiros de Castro, a Brazilian anthropologist who studies perspectivism. And Katukina consider that most intangible beings have a family, and usually Katukina refer to them as male individuals. Here, another kind of plant with owner, an intangible owner. And different things can have owner, as I told you before. Plants, in this case, is a beach. Plants and the intangible beings. Here is the mosquito and the owner of mosquitoes. They live inside the head of the owner. The Paris being the owner. In an example of place that is really dangerous, they cannot go there, they should avoid, because intangible being would like to have Katukina woman to constitute a family. So women are kind of driving this particular relationship. In Barajahi is the owner of this river, I don't know, really. And it's a very
speaking English.
yeah, I was talking Portuguese and Spanish. And it's a family that live in that place, so they avoid go to special place. And the other chapter is about agriculture activities and the past diets. It's from my grandmother's time when there was no shifted cultivation. Historical narratives to contextualize the emergence of agriculture and past diet among Katukina. Surprisingly, I thought that these activities shifted cultivation because they need to change the places to conduct the crop cultivation. I thought that it was an old activity, but they told me no, that it was less than 100 ago during the grandmother's time. And I asked, so what did you eat? What did you eat in the time? And they told me that a special tuber that I'm gonna show to you. This one is a vine. The scientific name is Cassimirella rupestre, and it's very big. And all their past food was based in this tuber. And something really surprising that I start to talk with my different ex-students, indigenous students from different regions, like this one in Macuera, this place here. And they told me the same, that the past diet was also by the same tuber.
How do we call that in Portuguese?
They call, we have different names. In Katukina language is chewe, but for groups in Labria, they call batata mandaira, forgot the name. And we have few scientific studies, but we have a naturalist who describe it. In that period, they call it maniaçu, which means big manioc. And it's also poisonous. In the process they did to eat, it's the same one to prepare tapioca. Most of you know tapioca. We tried, this is the tuber. This is indigenous from Rio Negro, Tucano. She also went with me. She was responsible to prepare the illustrations. This is also a collaborative way to engage the students from different indigenous groups in the place that they collected. And
we're using the Jutai, you can go there.
Oh yeah.
That's right, we're carrying the big.
Yeah. In this case, it's made by the, how can I say, casca, the tree bark. Yeah.
And they still eat it, right?
No.
They don't eat it, just
they
cassava.
don't eat, yeah.
Oh,
Now just
wow,
cassava. And we did a process that I'm calling experimental gastronomy. We tried to prepare tapioca. Yeah, but it was really hard because they associate this kind of food with a very bad period in their life. That was really difficult, hard to prepare. And probably maniocs, the tapioca in the use of farinha flour, manioc's flour, is a kind of civilization, helping them to have a better life. So, and this is also described for different groups in Peru, Purus River also. And I saw some descriptions that the organization responsible for indigenous people in Brazil, they supported many indigenous groups to have crop agriculture like a civilizationary activity in some regions in Amazon state. So they didn't want to prepare after many days that I was insisting. And after they told me, oh, you are gonna be the first one to prove because if you die, you'll not Katukina.
How kind.
But the taste was really nice, really similar to tapioca made by mandioca. And all the process, the technologies is the same to prepare tapioca. So probably was the opposite. They used it to prepare the chewy and adapted it to manioc.
And they use it in GPT?
This group, they still use. So I'm going now to explain, I don't know how many minutes I have. Okay. Oh, that's a lot. So now I'm going to explain two different activities supported by TCD. One was the TCD practitioner experience. I'm developing a manual book in Katukina language. I still didn't finish because I'm also finished my dissertation. But the idea was to conduct workshop with them, and because they asked me many times to support them in the educational system. They had school for more than 20 years, supported by the local municipality, but I think only 10 Katukina, they are almost 800, but only 10 knows how to write it. But they had problems because they forced to teach them in English, Portuguese, to read and write in Portuguese. But as they are selling their products, they really want to know, especially mathematics, negotiate, and also because they see different groups writing, and they're kind of a real desire. So this is the title of the project. What we want from your research. Jutai. It's between Jutai and Caroari. But to go there is from Jutai River, the tributary Biá River, Jutai River. But they can go walking until Caroari. Collaborating with the Katukina Indigenous people from the Amazon to create an educational manual in their native language. And we had different activities. And this is the first village. They already have a school. And the other one they don't have. And usually the activity, they separate women in a group and men in the other group. So it's a kind of cooperation. And I'm also trying to do this manual related with my dissertation. Okay, I suggested them to talk about this kind of the owners of the intangible beings, and they liked the idea. And they chose the title, they choose atyowa houm, which means our land, because today it's really important to talk about these different intangible beings and their relationship related with the land. And first, I conducted a preliminary research about all this kind of intangible beings, in the ownership system, the territorial regulation, the gender relations, the things that I told you before about my research. And second, I conducted a participatory workshop where the Katukina presented the oral histories and drew images of their natural resource and this kind of micro-territory owners. So also the women like to participate. And I also conducted some activities in the city, in the village, with other indigenous people who are professors. Some of them work in different villages, in others works in Katukina territory. The idea in this meeting was to talk about different kinds of difficult in collaborations. After this workshop, I decided to write a project, and I just arrived from there. I'm gonna show you was a really nice workshop. Now I'm organizing the manual. I need to review the contact with Katukina. I'm gonna do this next year, and also develop some workshop with the professors to think about how the way to use this manual. In the other workshop, the name was Connecting Multiple Ways of Knowing, Collaborative Training on Alternative Indigenous Education Concerning Meaning and Use of Territory in the Amazon. It was supported by TCD. And together with this project, I also conducted, we call in Portuguese, Paneiro de Saberes, maybe it's Basket of Knowledge, the name of the project, that I elaborated with Florencia Latrobe. She was a student here, she graduated this year, she's a designer. And the idea was to develop manual books, or art books, with the indigenous professors, and to think about autonomy, because they ask many times, they complain about the difficulty to have alternative materials to work in a school, formal school. So first, it was 1 week ago in Jutai, we developed a discussion, a diagnostic about the main problems related with education in manual books, alternative books. And in this, they were 20 professional teachers from 4 ethnic groups: Ticuna, Cocama, Katukina, and Kanamari. Just 2 professors, teachers from Katukina Indigenous group were participating. Because I think they were on 2 Katukina professors. They are. And we also presented some kind of different books, and they liked the idea. They really liked the name of Basket of Knowledge. I'm gonna explain why this name. First, I tried to present different scientific works, research conducted with Katukina and other indigenous groups in the area. This is an ecological economic calendar that I developed when I was working before my PhD. The Katukina, they draw different activities and changes related with seasonality, kind of biological indicators that can say that if it's gonna rain, if it's gonna have something with seasonality, related with seasonality. In this case here, they told me that a different frog sing in this period, so they can associate that it's gonna rain in a few days. And they have all kind of cosmology related with natural aspects, you know? Yeah.
You have 12 once per
For
month.
months, yeah.
And why you have like years and 5 months?
They did it. But something, in the beginning, we didn't want to divide by months because they have another way. But they asked us that they wanted to know our calendar. So they would like to know the months. You know. But are you asking me about the size? Because in some are, sorry.
Yeah, each person you can have 5 months and 7 months.
Why do you say? What do you?
The size of
Yeah.
the, oh, this is aleatory.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Because
I see.
They use it,
okay,
was totally aleatory, the size of each month, you know. And also, we asked the different activities. Here is internal activities in the village. Here is in the trails. And here, kind of more distant places. But some researchers, they do different way because the indigenous people, most of them, they don't use months. But as Katukina told us that they would like to have calendars like us, we did according to month.
Meaning, what is the orange, gray color?
The orange is the summer period.
Okay, so that's dry.
Yeah. And here is kind of when it's raining. So to this group, I explained that we can combine indigenous knowledge with scientific knowledge. They can use this in their formal school as a way to teach students using this kind of material. And I showed different works that different NGO developed. They liked it a lot because they didn't have an idea that it's totally possible to combine. This is just one example. This is a jaguar. They told him that they know that it's gonna be cold because the jaguar is a different sound. And the other part of the workshop was the elaboration of art books. Sorry, I didn't have time to translate this in Portuguese. But the idea, the name of Basket of Knowledge, because this is a tool like Simone just presented, really useful and important for indigenous groups. In this case, this kind they call paneiro, but they have different types, different sizes, different names. And the idea was to connect different knowledges in transversional themes. An example, with this thematic, here's a kind of umbrella, we can study geometries, mathematics, we can study biology, where they go to collect geography in this case, and what kind of plants and what's the histories involved to elaborate a basket, and the symbols as Simone presented, and different kinds of use, you know. So it's a kind of one theme topic to develop different sign tools. And also to stimulate the creativity that I'm gonna show now. This is the final book of Katukina. She did everything, the manual process to elaborate a book and also the content. Yeah. This is a kind of stamps that we did in the, do you remember? Yeah, Florencia.
All natural dyes.
Now, in this case, they use a different, are you asking about paint?
Paint, yeah.
We use it natural, but in some cases also in industrialized.
Okay.
But the process was handcraft. And some pictures about the natural paints. We use it in the most. Here we have only natural urucum, we call in Portuguese for the sign. This is leaves from pupunha. Orelhana. This is Jenipapa. Is this one? I think it's this one. We also use it coffee. And yeah, and plants. This one is pupunha leaves. Pupunha is bacteria. Yeah. And they told us different types of plants, seeds, but as we were in the summer, it was impossible to collect because most of the fruits is during the winter. And the idea was to stimulate them to have autonomy to produce their own alternative books, and also creativity and work collectively. We conducted the workshop during 6 days, and they loved it. We started 8 in the morning until 6 p.m. and they continued to work.
We should do it here.
Yeah, and the idea is to develop this with different indigenous groups and also interchange. This is the stamps. In this case, they used Kara as a tuber. With Kara was not so good, but with Manual, it was really nice. The
Florencia was there with you?
Yeah.
Oh, she went?
Yeah. She conducted this part. They loved the idea, especially because they told us, oh, this is so simple things that we can do with the children we have. And the other things we thought was about the adaptation, because me in Florence in the beginning, we was, oh my God, these things in Brazil are really expensive. Imagine to find this in Manaus.
The rubber.
Yeah. But this one was not so difficult because we have xilogravura arts in Brazil. But the other things we thought about adaptation, and they like it because it's how they can apply itself. Here they are doing the cover book and kind of beautiful things they did. And this is a process of bookbind to kind of, how can I say, costurar? So sign. Me and Florence, we did a workshop here in Gainesville before with a designer and teach them to do this, and they love it. And it was fun because the men are all the time, oh, now I'm using this. The cover, different style, different types. That's really beautiful. This one, they used the only natural paint. And here we can see the external and internal parts of the books. Kind of really beautiful. And they presented this case, this guy, he's a Kokama, and he was preparing a book about animals in both language. Petuca is bem-te-ver, a kind of bird in Portuguese. So it was really nice because we could know maybe we are not gonna have also to prepare the content, but most of them finalize. Here is about ecological relationships. The tambaqui fish eating some fruits. And most interesting thing that we didn't kind of obligate the thoughts. We told we are free and you can use your creativity for different aspects that you'd like to prepare your own book. This one's about mathematics. And the idea of the basket, because most of them didn't know how to prepare a basket. And Katukina teach them to prepare. In the end, they had this kit, this pedagogic kit, with tools to prepare with their units. This is Kokama guy with his book and the paneiro basket. And thank you.